Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions. I am Boomy. Thank you for watching. Now today, guys, we're going to watch a history-related video. So this video has been requested by my wonderful patrons. This is from Rebecca and Ayanami. So thank you very much, my lovelies. I thank you for requesting this video. So you say, here is a story about an amazing woman. You should check her out. She made the world a better place for everyone. Now, I recognize the name, Rebecca and Ayanami. I recognize her name. I know a little of this woman. I don't know enough. So this video is, who was Katherine Johnson? Now, straight away, the only reason I recognize the name is from the film Hidden Figures, which it's going back. I think I watched this film many years ago, but the name rings a bell. So this extraordinary lady was gifted. She was a child prodigy, wasn't she? Very clever lady, and she worked at NASA in between, like the late 50s up into the 80s, I think it was. So during that time era, so she not only had to overcome the barriers of gender inequalities and bias and all of this, she was an African American lady as well. So there was the discrimination against race, and it's an amazing lady, very gifted. So she is responsible, her and her team of other ladies as well. I think there were 2 other women that she worked with, and they were responsible for the mathematic calculations, which, how do I explain it, which allowed the space travel. And I think I can't remember specifically which one, which journey it was, or what specifically it was. I'm sure this video will tell us. But yes, she was extraordinarily gifted with mathematics, wasn't she? So let's check this video out. I'm sure it will explain in much more detail and a lot more articulately than I'm talking right now. Right. And as ever, guys, if you are enjoying these reactions, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Thank you so much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account, and that link is over here. And if you would like to help support my channel any further, I have a Patreon account. And if you fancy checking that out, that link is in the description below.
Who is Katherine Johnson? Katherine Johnson was born in West Virginia on August 26, 1918. At an early age, she showed a great talent for math. However, where Katherine lived, African American children were only educated until 8th grade.
I know this is difficult to understand, the mentalities at the time, but with our 21st century brains, we hear things like this and think, what? Why? That's ridiculous. So I'm assuming by the wording here, if you were white, you could continue education until when? Until, like, I don't know, 16 years old. That's awful. It's horrible. Just a side note as well, guys. Am I right in thinking, just to give you an idea of how intelligent this lady was, I think I remember reading around the time that her IQ was it's similar to Einstein. So we're talking about like an IQ of like 160 here. A very clever lady.
Here's a quick history lesson. Segregated. When a group or groups of people are kept apart from each other. In this case, African American and white people were being kept apart in schools. Integrating. To remove segregation. In this case, it means African American and white people were educated at the same places.
Which didn't generally happen in most places until many decades later. I don't need to tell a lot of our
Most places of education in the United States were segregated. In 1938, a law was passed that each state had to offer African American people the same educational opportunities as white people.
Rightly so.
They could do this either by building universities just for African Americans or by integrating their current universities.
So integration seems like a bit of a no-brainer. Something tells me that there's an awful lot of places that still decided to keep it segregated, but to go around that by offering the same kind of educational facilities out, but strictly only for African Americans and others. For again, I know we have our 21st century brains, so we can't comprehend the unfairness and just how ridiculous this way of thinking is.
What is Katherine Johnson known for? In 1953, Katherine started working in the computing section of NASA.
She's the human computer, isn't she?
The people working in Katherine's section were known as computers because of their rapid ability to do complex calculations. When Katherine began working for NASA, African American people were treated as if they were not equal. The section Katherine worked in was segregated. Only African American people worked there. Even the restrooms and eating areas were segregated. However, Katherine led the way in showing what women and African American people could achieve. Katherine Johnson's work included looking at information from flights, working out why things may have gone wrong, and making suggestions on how to improve things. She worked on the Freedom 7 project when Alan Shepard became the first American to go into space. Katherine performed calculations to help work out when spacecraft should be launched in order to make them land in the right place.
So, pretty important calculations.
In recognition of the work carried out by Johnson and her colleagues, Dorothy Vaughan and Mary Jackson, a film was created called Hidden Figures in 2016.
Was it 2016? I think I saw it about 5 years ago.
Fun facts about Katherine Johnson.
Cool.
In the 1950s, the United States and Russia began to compete in a space race. Katherine was asked to use her amazing math skills for different calculations and research. She plotted the path for America's first human spaceflight in 1961. This was a huge responsibility because if her calculations were wrong, the astronauts could have died.
Yes, it would have been an absolute catastrophe. So could you imagine having... I don't cope well with stress, guys, in case that isn't obvious. So to have that level of stress and responsibility, I'd like to say I wouldn't buckle under the pressure, but I probably would. So it's an enormous amount of pressure. That's an enormous responsibility to place on someone's shoulders. But she excelled.
During her successful career with NASA, Katherine co-wrote 26 papers and calculated paths for space shuttles and emergency return directions. In 2015, Katherine Johnson was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama. This medal is given to people who have helped America progress in the world.
Rightly so.
In 2016, a building at NASA was named after her, and Katherine received the Silver Snoopy Award.
Silver Snoopy?
This award is given to those who have made an outstanding contribution to flight safety and mission success. Katherine Johnson died on February 24th, 2020. She led the way for women and African Americans in the fields of space and mathematics. That's all for now. For more information and resources related to Katherine Johnson, head to twinkle.com.
Oh, it's a Twinkle video. Educational resources and whatnot. What an amazing lady. Like I said, it's not even having to overcome all of the barriers that are in place. have been put in place, you know, because of her gender, because of her race as well. So it must have felt, awful and quite crushing, quite soul crushing at the time to, I don't know, to know that you're, well, she must have known that she's right an awful lot of the time about calculations and da 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 da. But to be overlooked because of your gender or your race, I, I mean, fortunately, I don't think I've ever really experienced anything on that level, that kind of judgmental prejudice. But it's, you know, you must be a very strong person to come out the other side and to hold your chin up high and to excel at what you do. You know, it's an amazing lady. Fabulous, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for requesting that, Rebecca and Ayanami. Thank you so much. Very, very interesting. I hope I didn't spoil anything by saying I have heard of this lady before, but yes, a chance to learn more about amazing figures in history. It's always welcome. So thank you very much. Just put a smile on my face. So, guys, I hope you found that as interesting as I did. Take care of yourselves, my lovelies, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.